Life is suffering, gentlemen. We only have to know what are those that's worth suffering for. Poor, rich, short, tall, we always suffer either way in different forms. Everyone seems to dream and perceive that one day, through dragging yourselves through all the dark and painful trenches you'll fall into, the suffering will eventually end. That when you reach the top of the mountain, there will eventually be eternal peace. But then you forgot to realize that there will always be more and higher mountains to climb afterwards, and you can also slip and fall from the mountain you've climbed. When you are poor, the struggle is to get wealthy and claim your place inside the competitions. When you are wealthy, the struggle is to grow your wealth and stay ahead of your competitions. Life will always give you new and different problems to solve no matter the circumstances you are in, so don't ever get mentally surprised and discouraged when the pain never ends. When you have a clear direction of where you want to go or what you want to do, you must never identify pain as a pointless or meaningless interference. In fact, you know what, even when you don't have a clear direction in your life, the pain is there to teach you something or point you towards that direction you're after. Your attitude towards pain and suffering must veer or diverge towards some form of devout zealousness in order to keep that focus and fire of enthusiasm towards your life burning bright. Otherwise, you'll eventually yield to the barrage of all the shit circumstances life will throw at you and succumb to the need for immediate pleasure and distraction like a child. We all learn much better and much more thoroughly through negative experiences and discomforts, small or big in terms of the magnitude of their impact on our physical, cognitive, and emotional state. They compel us to adapt and adjust ourselves accordingly in order for us to eventually acquire the necessary wisdom, understanding, and consciousness to overcome them. Whether it is a heartbreak through a failed relationship, an unsuccessful attempt in a business endeavor, or even trying something new and conceding the first time, pain is the best teacher, as they say it, and they're absolutely right. Pain is your most valuable ally, and you must treat it as such, because they provide the much-needed incentives for you to seek for yourselves the answers to all your problems and questions. The only message and lesson that pain kept inducing you is to become better. And doesn't it excite you in some form of way hearing that? Don't you love the idea of becoming a better individual? Don't you love it when something drives or forces you to grow and become someone more than what you initially believed about yourself? A much stronger, smarter, wealthier, and more confident you. Of course you do. Don't lie to yourself. That's what failing a personal best attempt in the gym is telling you. That's what falling out of a romantic relationship with a toxic woman is telling you. That's what losing a large amount of money over a business venture is telling you. That's what the uncomfortable feeling of a morning cold shower is telling you. Become better. It's exactly like what Kratos told his son when he fails his hunt.
Do not be sorry. Be better.
This is how I stay enthusiastic even during hard times. Call me a masochist, I don't care. Sue me, mate, because it works for me. I love pain because I love to become a better individual. You must transform your narrative towards pain from a shallow, hopeless, and deprecative antics into an appetitive, ambitious, and persistent eagerness. Transform your narrative towards pain from, fuck this shit, it's too much, I can't do it, to, okay, you got me there. I'm going back to the drawing board, then I'm coming back for you and I'll beat you next time. Because here is the thing you need to understand, gentlemen. We as men, we're naturally stubborn problem solvers. It's just how we work and how our brains work. So whatever problems we face, however big they are and however emotionally damaged we become due to experiencing them, we are secretly and subconsciously driven to want to fix them. Even if we physically want to avoid them for however long, we do so until we eventually find a way to overcome them. So don't try to escape our problem-solving tendencies, gentlemen. It's already hardwired within us. It's our opportunity to utilize them to the best of their abilities. It's only a matter of shifting your attitude towards better serving your innate problem-solving tendencies. Now I know I've said that pain only teaches you one lesson, but I lied, because there is another thing worth mentioning when it comes to the deeper lesson that pain can teach you, and that is, it teaches you the value of gratitude and cherishment like no other circumstances could ever do. It brings into full, visceral, and intimate consciousness of what appreciation means. When you constantly put yourself extensively in uncomfortable situations, when you have to profoundly exert yourself to the excruciating limits in your efforts, even the slightest form of gratifications can satiate you significantly. It's like fasting. I'm sure my Muslim audience can relate to this. When you withheld yourself from feasting on food, delaying your gratifications, and resisting your natural impulses to want to satiate your hunger, the moment when you break your fast and take that first taste of indulgent, even water tastes really good. And I'm not messing about here. I've tried fasting for 48 hours to try and reduce the inflammation on my joints, and the moment I take that first sip of water, I kid you not, even water has a taste. That's how bewildered I was, because it makes me feel fulfilled given how relatively insignificant drinking water is in terms of gratifications. It's the same thing with regards to retention. When you abstain from sex for a long time and arduously resisting your natural impulses to procreate and ejaculate, the moment you have sex and eventually ejaculate, it's extremely satiating to a level you possibly never knew or experienced before. That's just how pain works. It resets your threshold of satisfaction towards pleasure, the same way how pleasure works. It resets your threshold of tolerance towards pain. Today's world is just impeccably stimulated by too much distractive pleasures. That is why they cannot get satiated by mere simple forms of gratifications. That is why most people nowadays are finding it very hard to display gratitude and appreciation. I mean, you can notice them yourself. People who are spoiled rotten with constant stimulations don't even know the meaning of gratitude because they rarely or never put themselves in painful circumstances to earn and cherish those gratifications, as all of those have been ignorantly given to them without any exertions of efforts. And in the end, when trouble eventually hits the door, they have absolutely no answers. Same way with people who watches too much porn. They cannot bring themselves to appreciate and find pleasure in normal real-life sex because their threshold for pleasure is so elevated that they need a peculiarly significant type and amount to experience any form of satiation. So appreciate the pains in your lives, gentlemen, because not only will they teach you about appreciation like no other being could, but they will also eventually bring and befall you circumstances that you will appreciate for a long time coming. They may be annoying and unbearable at first touch, but that's their way to put a stop to your ignorance and stupidity and bring you into full awareness and forces you to understand and adapt to the circumstances around you. Pain pushes you to overcome them and prevail, and how could you not love them for that? Thank you for watching.